My name is Susan, and today I thought we would have a little chat about inner work, which is also called inner child work. So let's talk about what is it, how do you access it, and I'll share a little bit about my experience with it because I think inner work is the most important work you'll ever do in your life. It will completely transform your life from the inside out. So, you may make a lot of changes on your outside world, but always there's that inner self that maybe doesn't feel so good. So, the inner work is really where you need to make the changes. And for me personally, like I spent most of my life down at the vibration of apathy and shame, anger. And now, after doing a lot of inner work, I'm able to access the vibration of joy and more able to embody joy for longer periods of time. And like it's miraculous, really. I never thought I would be able to heal some of the parts of myself. I just thought it was impossible. There's no way to do it, but yeah, it's possible. It's possible. It's miraculous. So inner work, inner child work. I think if you look around the world, the situations that we see out in the world, like war and corruption, narcissism, like so many negative things happening out there, and the reason is that people haven't done the inner work. It's like they look like adults. They're in adult bodies, but inside they're still being run and controlled by the inner child, the wounded inner child. Because the inner child is basically all of our misaligned beliefs that are in our subconscious. And I'm sure you've heard that the subconscious is what creates your reality. Our conscious awareness, my dogs are barking, our conscious awareness is only a small portion of our control over our reality. And so all these dark forces, all these misaligned beliefs that are locked away in the subconscious, they're not making the world the beautiful place that it should be, that it could be, and not giving you the beautiful life that you want, that you deserve. So, misaligned beliefs, what are they? As a child, it's like your brain hasn't fully developed yet, and so your reasoning and your logic is not quite working. And so beliefs like, my parent doesn't give me any attention, I'm not worthy of attention, I'm not lovable, connect to those together. Even though they're not related, somehow we've made that connection as a child. My parents are getting divorced, it's my fault, I'm unworthy of any love, connected together. And this is a funny one. Oh, I shouldn't say funny, it's not funny, but it's so misaligned. This is one I remember when I was in the 4th grade. I've never broken a bone before, knock on wood, So I'm probably going to die of cancer. Joined together. Like, what is the logic of that? Like, breaking a bone and having cancer, there's nothing in common. They don't go together. The same with my parent doesn't pay attention to me, I'm unworthy. There's no connection to that. But to the child's thinking, it makes these illogical connections. And all of those thoughts get put into the subconscious, which you actually think like that's the core of your being, that unworthiness and unlovability and shame and guilt, that all these things, like that's who you are, because that's the ego, like in between these, the thought and the conclusion, like there's the ego, that's the identity that's been formed, and it's gonna protect you because it's gonna keep this stuff hidden in here in the subconscious. It doesn't want it to come up and out, and it doesn't want anybody to get in, including you. So it's gonna hide this and keep it away from view, because it's gonna protect the self ID, the identification of being unworthy and unlovable. So this ego, it's thinking it's protecting you, but it's protecting a false identity. And so if anybody starts to get close, to try and dig into the subconscious, to get in there and see these misaligned beliefs, the ego is going to do whatever it can to push that away. So it's going to self-sabotage relationships, friendships, whatever. Anybody who tries to get too close to you, that might see that you're unworthy, that you are unlovable, it's going to make some kind of trouble or push you away or push them away. And so these beliefs stay intact, thanks to our friend the ego. So how do we access, how do we get to this, how do we get past this protection from the ego to get to the subconscious? And what I found worked really well was a technique from Deepak Chopra, from his book, I think it's called Path to Love. And it's very simple, and it worked very effectively, and I still use it today anytime I want to get in touch and see what's going on in there. And you just simply put your hands on your heart, close your eyes, and ask your heart if there's anything that it wants to show you or tell you, that you're here for it, that you're listening, and you're ready to hear whatever it has to say. Anything's okay. You're here for it, you love it, and you're waiting for it to tell you what it needs to say. And just give it some space and see what comes up. And it could come up as a vision. If you have an open third eye, you're going to see a vision of something, or maybe a thought comes into your head, and check that thought to see what it is. Or you might hear something, and just see what comes up for you. And if you're finding that nothing's coming up, then you may need to coax your heart a little bit, and just keep working. Just say, please share with me anything that you need to say. I'm here for you. Anything is okay. I'm supporting you. I love you. And just keep working with your heart. And I think something will come up for you. For me, I had like a really bizarre experience when I did the work the first time. I had some severe trauma happen to me when I was 10 years old, and so I didn't do this inner work until I was 50 years old. So 40-year time period for my inner child to be left in the dark, in the subconscious. And so when I, asked my heart to pull up anything that it wanted to share, I had this huge energy come up from my ego that wanted to protect me from getting in there, to hide this trauma from me, because my trauma was repressed, so I wasn't aware of it. So the ego came up in a big way, and this fear came up of total annihilation. And it was so intense. And looking at it like from a higher perspective now, like I can see that, that is, it's not like a fear of annihilation of life, like I'm gonna die. Well, there's the ego death. It's the ego's fear of dying because its identity is unworthiness and worthlessness and all these low vibrations. Like that thinks that's who it is. And so if I start going in there and digging around in there, I'm gonna shatter that ego identity. And so this fear of annihilation came up, and also the ego distorted my inner child so much that when I saw her, I didn't even recognize that it was my inner child, because she was so transformed. She was completely white, because locked in the dark for 40 years, no light coming into the subconscious, right? And she wasn't developed like a fetus, like still a child, but like a adult body, but still like fetus like, because there was no growth in that 40 years. Because I never did any inner child work, there was no growth from that inner child. Like she never grew into an adult. She was frozen at 10 years old in my identity. So I'm walking around as a 10-year-old trying to deal with life for the past 40 years. And so like this is the problem that we're facing as adults, walking around as wounded children, trying to cope and trying to get through this lifetime. Like it's it's crazy. So anyway, when this came up, like the fear of annihilation, and then this creature looking thing come up in my vision, I just shut it down. I was like, oh no, like I just shut it down. And I did like a clearing to make sure that was my energy that came up, and not something else channeling through me. And did the clearing, and I felt it was still there within me, and so I knew it had to be a part of myself. And so I got really curious about it, and so I finally sat again and asked my heart, to bring up what it wanted to show me again. And at first, it like hesitated to bring it up, and I had to do a little bit of coaxing. And finally it pulled it up, and this creature that was my inner child, only I didn't know what it was at the time. And so I just embraced this creature and just said, I love you. I know you're a part of me. I love you. I'm sorry. And every day, like going to my heart and working on whatever this was. And little by little, this creature transformed into my inner child. And finally, I could see her, and she came forward, and I was able to work with her a lot more. So after you meet, like after you're able to pull up your inner child and meet with him or her, then just working, like I also did work where I envisioned my inner child sitting in front of me or sitting on my lap, and just just spending time together, and letting them be comfortable and feel safe. And yeah, I think also, like, on the note of safety, like when you do this kind of work, it's important that you do it in a surrounding, in an area where you feel completely comfortable and safe, because your inner child, it needs to feel safe. It needs to feel safe. It needs to feel loved. And so, make sure you're in a space where you feel safe, where you can relax in your body, relax into your heart, and have that space and private time where you can do the work. And yeah, I hope you try it, because I really think it'll work for you. And that was my key. Meeting the inner child and beginning to work with the inner child was the key to my healing journey, and also, I'm sure, the direct cause of my Kundalini awakening, which was very helpful for me. I never did any kind of therapy, and so having the Kundalini, I call it my personal therapist, because the Mother Goddess always pulling up stuff for me at the right time when I'm ready to work on it. And for me, like, the trauma that I experienced, like, I'm kind of grateful to my ego that it hid it away, because I think I wasn't prepared to deal with what it was. And even in my Kundalini awakening, it was a year and a half before that trauma came up, but I was at a place where it was shocking to me, but I was able to work with it, and yeah, and be able to heal it, and be able to step into a more empowered being that knows her self-worth. And so it's a huge accomplishment. So anyway, I hope that you'll try it, and if you have any questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you. And thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you listening to this and listening to what I have to say. And I'll see you next time. Thanks so much. Bye.